Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Jamuna Tera Vanachari. Jamuna Tera Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Jamuna Tera Vanachari. Jamuna Tera Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. That wasn't the tune that I was singing, but anyway. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Pariraja Kacharya Asto Tarasata Śrīmad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Say Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana ki. Shri Vrindavan Dham ki. Shri Mayapur Navadvip Dham ki. Shri Purushottam Chitra ki. Shri Ganga Mai ki jai. Shri Jamuna Mai ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Tulsi Devi Maharani ki jai. Harinam Sankirtana ki jai. Srila Prabhupada's Transcendental Book Distribution ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. What happened to the Lilamrita? Huh? That volume's not there. What about try for something else? Okay, very good. But I think I'll... Oh, okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, I'm going to need the book. Yeah, that's what I was going to suggest. It's in every town and village. Yeah, I think, volume 4. Please. So, Om Jnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmaye Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahayam Dadati Svapadantikam Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate garim yat kripa tamaham bande Sri Gurum dinatarinam. So, I was just thinking this morning, singing the Gurvashtakam prayers. Samsara Davanala Lida Loka. We're living in the fire of material existence, both metaphorically and literally. A big challenge for the country, actually. But also something that we meditate on every day, how much people are suffering. Sometimes they're more acutely aware of it than others, but the reality is that material existence is pretty much a blazing fire. Right? And everybody's being consumed by that fire. In the form of the time factor. Right? So everybody ultimately becomes fuel for the fire of material existence. So the spiritual master is the medium via which, or through whom, Krishna extinguishes this fire of material existence. Right? And Srila Prabhupada is our exemplar in this effort to help relieve the conditioned souls, the living entities caught up in the fire of material existence by his instructions. He's distributing Krishna's mercy by giving Krishna's instructions, and the instructions by which we can get relief from the blazing fire of material existence. And by following the order of the spiritual master, one's able to get out of material existence. And Srila Prabhupada put a great amount of effort into distributing his instructions far and wide. You know, Srila Prabhupada would wake up very early every morning, wherever he was, and he put time into an effort into translating the Vedic literature into volumes and volumes of books that effectively extinguish the fire of material existence. The instructions in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, are all meant for relieving the conditioned souls of their conditioning, of their material conception of life, and designed to help us rise above the material and come to the platform of spiritual. That's what it means to follow the order of the spiritual master, is to engage in activities that remove the burden of material existence and elevate us to the platform of pure spiritual consciousness, even whilst, you know, living apparently in the material world, even while being part of the material world. At the same time, the devotees that are sincerely and effectively following the order of the spiritual master, their consciousness is elevated above the material realm. So even though the devotees live in the material world, they're not of the material world. So Srila Prabhupada was given the order by his spiritual master to preach in the Western world and in English, right? In English. Rambaroon Mataji last night mentioned the story, which I thought was inspirational for me, at least considering the topic that I wanted to talk about. Srila Prabhupada wrote the Back to Godhead magazine established the Back to Godhead magazine in which year? Which year did Srila Prabhupada establish the Back to Godhead magazine? Anybody got any ideas? 44, right. Where was Srila Prabhupada in 1944? India, yes. What language did he write Back to Godhead magazine in? English. What language were the people that he was distributing the Back to Godhead magazine, what languages were they speaking? Huh? Bengali. Yeah, Bengali or Hindi. That is far out, isn't it? In fact, in the narrative that we heard last night, there were devotees who were selling the Back to Godhead magazine who couldn't even speak English themselves. Yet, as was pointed out, Srila Prabhupada had great faith, obviously in the order of his spiritual master, and in the potency of the Mahamantra. Mahamantra can transcend any language barrier, because it's not of the material world. It's of the spiritual world. Yet, see how much faith Srila Prabhupada had in the order of his guru. Right? In the order of his guru. Such that he was writing the Back to Godhead in English in a country or in a situation where most of the people that he was distributing the magazine to couldn't read it. Why? Why? Why did he do that? Yeah, it was the order of his guru. And as is, we have another volume of the Lila Amrita called the first volume. What's the first volume called? Lifetime in Preparation. Srila Prabhupada was preparing himself preparing for his future mission. It's fairly clear that Srila Prabhupada knew what he was doing. If you look at, even he said when he was in New York, what was it, talking to the train conductor? Was it Mr. Rubens? Was that his name? And Prabhupada was telling him, there are temples, there are communities of devotees, there are farms. Prabhupada was explaining to him what would happen. It was interesting that the devotees in 26 Second Avenue wanted to keep Srila Prabhupada in New York. And when Srila Prabhupada went to San Francisco, there was a little disease, I guess, or a little apprehension, right, that Srila Prabhupada would leave the fledgling community in New York and go to San Francisco. How the devotees of New York couldn't, and many of the devotees, certainly Srila Prabhupada's vision was expansive and broad and encompassed the vision of the previous acharyas, the vision of Lord Chaitanya. Some of Srila Prabhupada's activities were not appreciated at the time by the devotees who were his associates, right? They couldn't appreciate his vision. And so there was a little concern. Why is Prabhupada well, he wasn't Prabhupada then. Why is Swamiji going to San Francisco? Right? We'll lose our little New York scene, will be disturbed. Right? So Prabhupada's vision was very, very broad. And it's interesting that he was mobile phones off, please. Oh, I better turn mine off too while I'm at it. It can be embarrassing. I think I turned it off last night. I did. Not back on again. So, off. You hear that? Boop, boop. Somebody's ringing up someone. Okay, so Srila Prabhupada had a vision that wasn't always appreciated or understood, but it's worth us meditating on. And you know, we've just had a very successful Christmas marathon, for which we've gathered this morning to celebrate. Is that right? Chincharipa's busy cooking in the kitchen. Joy. She's been busy in the kitchen for the last 3 days. Actually, I think for the last 3 or 4 lifetimes. Anyway. So, we're in prosecuting, following Srila Prabhupada's orders, especially with the book distribution and the book distribution marathon over the Christmas period. We're trying to please our spiritual master. To that extent, the devotees worked very hard. It's a big sacrifice, and we want to appreciate those efforts. And we want to also increase on those efforts moving forward. Right? I think, we're going to look at the figures in a minute, but I think we increased our book distribution by we did about $80,000 worth of books last year, and I think this year we did about 120,000. Very rough figures. So that's a 50% increase, right? Which is probably the biggest increase that we've had for a long time. And I wanted us to meditate on what Srila Prabhupada's purpose is. You know, why did he translate the why did he write in English? Why did Srila Prabhupada write in English? So I'm going to read a little bit from the Lilamrita in every town and village. This is in Nairobi. In 1971. Prabhupada, this is from page 259. Prabhupada wasn't satisfied preaching only to the Indians. Right? Now, this is ironic because you're all Indians, most of you. Right? And what have I spent my life doing? I was just thinking about it last night. You know, a lot of my time preaching has been cultivating the Indian community. So who am I to say? Who am I to say? But anyway, let's continue, shall we? He wanted to preach to the Africans. Indians and Africans were completely segregated. But since a Krishna conscious person does not make distinctions based on the body, Prabhupada said the Indians had a duty to share their spiritual culture with the Africans. Right? So you can remove Africans and put here Australians. Okay? Now, the only reason why I mention this is because I know some of the devotees spent time only distributing to Indians. And in one sense, there's nothing wrong with that. Who are our best customers? Huh? Indians, yes. and as you know, because some of you are, or many of you are, my best friends, most of them are Indians, right? But we've got to keep in mind that Prabhupada wanted us to preach to the Australians, right? This is a sneaky trick, right? But interesting, Srila Prabhupada came to the West to preach to the indigenous population, right? And then Srila Prabhupada went back to India with his dancing white elephants, right? But then Srila Prabhupada established ISKCON in India, and very powerfully, very strong. The Indian ISKCON in India is bigger and more influential and has many more resources than we'll find in the West, so-called West. India is very powerful preaching, big temples, large communities of devotees. But then also, in that same mood, Krishna's arrangement, Krishna is sending large populations of Indian communities all around the world. Now, those devotees don't realize what they're doing, but they're just continuing the cycle that was started by Srila Prabhupada. They've come to the West ostensibly for what? Money. Right? Yeah, money. Basically, that's right. Money. But that's not the real reason why they've come. The real reason why they've come is to distribute Krishna consciousness to the local people. That's what Srila Prabhupada did, and that's what Prabhupada says here is the duty. But our community is meant to be bigger than what it is now. That in and of itself will be a challenge. But we need to think beyond our current situation and see with the vision that Srila Prabhupada had. Prabhupada impressed on Brahmananda Swami that his first duty in Africa was to give Krishna consciousness to the Africans. Right? Otherwise, why did Srila Prabhupada write books in English? If he wanted to preach to the Indians, he would have just written books in Bengali or in Hindi. Right? But he wrote it in English. And in London, Prabhupada also had similar discussions with the devotees in England. Now, there's nothing wrong, and we should cultivate the Indian community. Obviously, that's obvious. That goes without saying. But the bigger challenge, right, is to cross over. And of course we're doing it. I'm not suggesting that we're not doing it, but we shouldn't lose sight of that fact, that this is what Srila Prabhupada wanted us to do. And of course, what that will do is shift us out of our comfort zone radically. Right? Just like, for me, it was very difficult having to deal with the Indian community. I would talk to somebody and I would say, and where are you from? And they would tell me, Bangalore or whatever it was. And then I would think, where the hell is that? I didn't know. When I first started, making friends with devotees like Vijay Gopikesh and Karunanidhi Krishna and Srivas Nimai and so many. But actually, the first Indian families that I dealt with were the Pamamals. Does anybody know the Pamamals? They came to Australia, their family, their grandfather came to Australia in the early 1900s. Right? And practically the only Indian family in Melbourne. The Pamamals. They established opal jewellery. All of the boys are retired now, and some of them are deceased. And I noticed that Pratap, who's been a long-time supporter of the temple, Pratap, his shops are all up for lease now. So that means he's retired. So most of the Pamamal boys, and he's my age, right? Now he's retired. So, you know, these were the first, and I was scared. I'm not scared, but I was really uncomfortable because I was trying to make friends with people who I knew very little of. I didn't know very much of the culture. I didn't know anything about the languages. I didn't know anything about the regional flavours of India. Right? And, you know, I now know that if somebody has come from Mumbai, that means they could be Bengali, they could be South Indian, they could be North Indian, and they probably speak 4 or 5 languages, right? Like the Qatars are Marwadis. Well, what's a Marwadi? And they lived in Calcutta, but actually the family's originally from Rajasthan, right? And they have a strong connection with the family has been supporting temples in Vrindavan for, you know, they're a Vaishya community, I guess you could say, who have had a connection with the temples in Vrindavan for generations. Been giving and supporting Bhaktivedanta ji and so, you know, now I have an understanding of all of this culture, and that took years to absorb and assimilate and understand, right? Such that now, a lady rang up yesterday at the temple, and I could tell, I hadn't seen her, I didn't know her, but I could tell by her accent that she was a Bengali, right? I could tell by her accent that she was a Bengali, right? We need to become so familiar with the culture that we're preaching to that we can tell, "G'day mate, how's it going?" And you won't know where he's from. Right? Because, you know, sometimes you go for a walk. I go for a walk down the beach, and the Muslim community, and this is a big challenge for the Hindus, right? But a lot of Muslims in Australia now, they tend to congregate down Sandridge, the beach down at near Webb Point. Do you know where I mean? Right down the end of the beach to the northwest, right? And I used to go and chant my japa a lot. If you walk from here to Webb Point, that's 8 rounds, right? And then, or at least for me it is, and then when you walk back, that's another 8 rounds, and so you can chant 16 rounds in a long walk down to, so it's a 2-hour walk, right, down to Webb Point. And at that beach, very often I'd come across the Muslim people that would be there. And I remember seeing a group of young men, and I thought, and you know, actually they don't look very much, they look similar to Indians, right? People from Iran and Iraq and whatever. And so I was, you know, I like to greet people. So I was thinking, oh, here's some interesting Middle Eastern gentlemen, right? When I went to high school, we had a different name for them, but I can't mention that. It's not politically correct. So I thought, I'll say g'day, hello, g'day, and have a guess what they said. And I was thinking they were going to speak back to me in a Middle Eastern accent. So g'day, and they say, g'day mate, how's it going? Right? So, Australian culture is it levels everybody down to the LCD. You know what the LCD is? The lowest common denominator. Right? So that's, g'day mate, how's it going? Right? Who won the footy? Or who won the cricket? So we need to get to know. It's not that difficult, but we need to get to know, because this ultimately, when we've got all of the Indian community on side, what are we going to do next? And that's why the book distribution is so important, why the Harinam is so important, why book prasadam distribution is so important. Because these things gradually dissolve these misconceptions of bodily identity. It's a mistake to measure the effectiveness of the Hare Krishna movement by the ethnicity of the people who are at the arti. Right? Just like if you went in 1966 to the Lower East Side and looked at all of the people in the room, you think, it's just a bunch of hippies. Right? Just a bunch of hippies. And if you look in the temple room in 2020 at the Saturday night Gora Arti, you think, it's just a bunch of Indians. Right? But that's wrong. It's completely wrong. That's not what it's going to be. Srila Prabhupada's vision is much, much broader, and we should embrace that. It's going to push us out of our comfort zone, just as even preaching to our own ethnicity is challenging. That's not easy. It's not easy. Right? But then stretching beyond that, out of our comfort zone, we can be made very uncomfortable. But that's the vision. I mentioned in a class the other day, we need to avoid the mood of what I call then shortcut-itis, right? Like you get tonsillitis, appendicitis, right? So we need to avoid shortcut-itis, which means we try to make everything easy for ourselves. But you can be guaranteed that if you are now a member of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, there is no such thing as easy. Right? No such thing as Lord Brahma says, by the fire of ordeal, one becomes purified. One makes advancement. Right? What is it? Theistic conduct. I've forgotten. There are a number of principles there, but Lord Brahma mentions one is purified by the fire of ordeal. What's our ordeal, if you like? What's our tapasya? What's our austerity? Our austerity is not, fasting or going without sleep, although we do tend to do that, or in the hot weather sitting out in the sun, or in the cold weather sitting in the cold. This is not the austerities of the bhaktas or the austerities of bhakti. The austerity for us is to preach. That's our austerity. Or getting up early in the morning. Maybe that's one of the major austerities. But we don't have to do fasting or physical austerities. Although, mind you, preaching is physical. How many hours a day book distribution were you doing, Gopa?
Depends on the groups.
Yeah.
Probably doing 7 hours.
Yeah, 7.
I think Brahmachari Prabhu and Prabhu, they were doing about 10 hours.
Yeah. And Meenakshi, how many hours were you doing? Is Meenakshi here? How many hours?
On weekends when his days off, I was out for like 10 hours. But on the
pretty effective. Mahalakshmi, where's Mahalakshmi? How many hours were you doing a day?
Like 3, 4, sometimes 7.
Wow. Just imagine if these guys were out doing 8, 10 hours. I guess, you can work smarter, not harder. But generally speaking, it's okay if you're around a temple. It's easy. Easy pickings, right? Easy pickings. But when we're out, it's hard work. So anyway, Prabhupada wanted us. I don't think I need to read anymore. You get the point. Get the point? Yeah, good. Okay, yeah, and it's probably this is a theme. Some of you have heard this theme before, but I thought we should meditate on it. Srila Prabhupada spent many, many years meditating on his mission. And we should also, following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas and following in the footsteps of Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada is our guru. And we know that if we're to please Krishna, then the methodology of pleasing Krishna is please the spiritual master. Everybody wants a super guru, right? There's this notion that in the Judaic Christian paradigm, it's the Messiah, the person who's going to come and save everybody, right? This concept of the Superman, the superhuman, who's of the world but not of the world, in the world but not of the world, right? Everybody wants that person. Well, have a guess what? We've got him. And there he is. He's there. Actually, I'll tell you a story. It's always good to have a Sankirtan story, isn't it? We were doing Sankirtan, at least what we called Sankirtan. We were selling paintings in Hobart, of all places, right? And I was having an extremely tough time because I was with somebody who I didn't really know and didn't have a friendship with. We'd been away from the Melbourne temple for 4 weeks, which felt like 40 million years to me because I was only a devotee. I'd been initiated maybe 6 months and had been a devotee living in the temple for 10 months, right? And we'd gone down to Tassie, so no Radha Ballabha, no Gaur Nitai, no devotees, just me and this particular devotee who, I wasn't particularly friendly with. And, he was the senior devotee, I was the junior devotee, so he used to give the Bhagavatam class in the morning, and I just used to fall asleep. And of course, what was the most serious thing that I was missing? Prasadam. No prasadam. And, I couldn't cook, he couldn't cook. And I was feeling miserable. And, my wig was badly out of shape. I needed a new wig, so I was very self-conscious. In those days, we used to wear wigs, which, anyway, we'd shave our heads and then put a wig on. What did we think we were doing? What did we think we were up to? And, people would. Once I was selling candles in Dandenong, and went into one workshop, in one factory, and I said, "Yeah, anybody interested in candles?" And they said, "Yeah, mate, we've got somebody, so they sent out one of the guys in the factory who wore a wig. They sent him out to see me. Anyway, this is Australian humour, a bit of sarcasm. Yeah, mate, here's your man. So out comes the guy with the wig on. So anyway, I was feeling deeply the separation of the devotees, right? And I was just waiting for Balaram to ring us up and say, you can come home now. But that never happened. Actually, I was ringing the temple to get our marching orders. So anyway, we would rise at 3 o'clock in the morning, every morning, and have a shower. And in those days, this was in June in Hobart, right? So what's the weather like in Hobart in June, Prabhu? Very cold, yeah. And even though we're staying in a caravan park, even though we could put 10 cents in the shower to get hot water, we were staunch brahmacharis, right? So we were having cold showers. And I was feeling such separation from the devotees. And at least I was sleeping on the floor of the caravan because I wasn't going to sleep in any of the beds that the dirty, kami, meat-eating demons had slept in. Got to keep myself pure. But at the same time, inside I was crumbling, crying pretty much because it was so austere. Then one night, Srila Prabhupada came to me in a dream, and then he just sat in front of me and he put his feet on my head and just rubbed his feet on my head. And I woke up and I said, he's here! It was such a vivid dream, and I was so shaken by it. I woke up and said, he's here! And then I realised it was just a dream. But then that day, all of my anxiety was gone. Huh? And then Balaram rang up and he said, okay, time to come home. Wow! So, we want a super guru. Everybody wants a super guru, a messiah. Right? We've got him. We've got Srila Prabhupada. And of course, we have Prabhupada's representatives also. But everybody within ISKCON is subservient to Srila Prabhupada. He's the source, he's the foundation. Everything that we do has come from, everything that we do should come from Srila Prabhupada. We also have to be careful of bringing in other influences. Right? But we should know that in order to be successful in our spiritual lives, and this is why, along with everything else that we've been doing, it's a credit to Gopa Vrindesh Prabhu and Param Brahma and Dvija and Rikeshwari and Meenakshi and Matsya and Mahalakshmi, and we've got a long list of names here that we'll read out, have put so much effort into the marathon. There's so many other things that are going on around in the ISKCON Melbourne Yatra. There's so many activities going on. It'd be easy to be discouraged. Oh, nobody's into book distribution, it's too hard. Right? But we're very fortunate to have, we get inspiration from Vijay Prabhu every year. He comes and revs everybody up. But we also have the devotees themselves who have stuck at the book distribution and have built it up and built it up. And of course we want to do more. That's what Srila Prabhupada wanted. Prabhupada wanted the devotees to double it. Well, we halved it. We added on half. Doubling it, very hard to do. Not impossible, but because Prabhupada said impossible is a word in a fool's dictionary, right? But we've increased. So it's a great credit to the devotees who sacrifice so much in the month of December to please Srila Prabhupada, and of course we know that Srila Prabhupada is very pleased by these results, and we should rededicate. Already the devotees are planning next year's marathon, at least subtly, starting to meditate on it. Right? Is that right? Yeah, why not? And the book distribution that we can be doing throughout the year. But that will mean, just like on Gita Jayanti, everybody had the great idea to go to the Shiva Vishnu temple. And it was a very good idea. Just we should have got permission first from our best friends, our supporters. And 10 devotees all at once, 9 devotees all at once. We're the Hare Krishnas, we're famous for blowing out a good spot. Yep. So we need to be organised. And this is a big challenge. Madhyam Bhakta means a preacher. And it means they have to work together cooperatively. And it means, you can't always just do what I want to do. We have to think about others. And we have to work cooperatively with others, in order to have a world-class organisation, which is what Srila Prabhupada wanted. World-class, well-organised, well-coordinated. That means sometimes, no, not sometimes, all of the time, you practically speaking have to put aside your own, what you want to do or what I want to do, and have to consider somebody else. Can you believe that? I was the firstborn in my family. My parents kept on telling me that I had to share. Right? And I hated that. Hey, come on, what's this sharing business all about? Brothers are for domination, for subordination, right? Selfishness. My parents used to tell me, you're selfish. My wife still telling me I'm selfish. So it's a sacrifice, working with others, working cooperatively. But it's a hallmark of this community that, generally speaking, the devotees put aside their personal considerations and they sacrifice for others. And that's what Srila Prabhupada wanted. And that's what preaching means. And it's what effective book distribution will mean. Working together and broadening our horizons, broadening our vision so that it's as big as Srila Prabhupada's. There's sometimes on occasion where Prabhupada said, preaching even on other planets. Well, that's pretty far out. We've got Melbourne and Victoria. We've got a fair bit to cover. So let's sort that out first. But it will require sacrifice and embracing Prabhupada's vision and accepting the austerity. We come to spiritual life thinking, oh, no, I'm going to be a peaceful yogi. Right? That's what I thought. I'll learn meditation and I'll go and live on a farm and life will be happy. We live happily ever after. Huh? Well, I never made it to the farm. In fact, the devotees sent me out on book distribution and actually, no, the first thing that I was selling was daisies and flowers. That was the first thing that so we were, my idea of living in a transcendental farming community where everybody was happy and we worked together. I ended up out on the street selling candles and paintings and became a manager, right? Administrator. So my notion of peaceful life was blown apart very quickly. But of course, by the same token, the satisfaction and the happiness and the pleasure that's derived from engaging in those sacrifices and ultimately serving the devotees and serving Srila Prabhupada is worth every ounce of effort, because it's in the Christian, in the Bible, or certainly in the Christian liturgy in that I was exposed to, there's a statement that, what is it? The peace of God that passes all understanding, right? And we feel that as devotees when we're engaged in devotional service, the satisfaction and the happiness and the pleasure that's derived from rendering service, no matter how much austerity is performed, is deeply, deeply fulfilling and satisfying. So even though there's austerity in serving the spiritual master, we hanker and crave for that opportunity to serve, even if it's difficult. In fact, if it's not difficult, then we wonder, oh, is this bona fide? Huh? I don't know if you've had that feeling. I'm enjoying my service. Oh, is that okay? But sometimes the satisfaction and the pleasure that we can get from our service, even if it's difficult, is more satisfying than any of the sense gratification that might be on offer in the material world. That's the power of bhakti. The power of bhakti is such that even if it's an austerity, it is still so attractive and satisfying that we don't want anything else. Huh? And we can get that especially from the austerities that are performed from preaching, especially book distribution. And so on behalf of the community, I guess it's my honour and duty to thank all of the devotees who went out in a marathon, distributed so many books, added an extra $40,000 to the economy of the Hare Krishna movement in Melbourne, and that's welcome. Keep in mind, we lost the catering at Falls, right? Because of bushfire panic, right? And so how much is that? There's $30,000 we lost. 20. Minimum 20. So, you win some, you lose some. That's the nature of existence, you may have noticed. But it was a commendable effort. We'd really like to thank the devotees. And so let's have a look at the scores. Let's move on. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada's Transcendental Book Distribution ki jai. So we have a high-tech presentation this year. Let's see what happens.
You could sit here, this side.
Yeah, let's get rid of this. Vijay, you want to come up? Please.
You can bring all the prasadam, that side. Books, everything, whole seat, everything out there. Can I stop? We still need the record? Yeah, we need, yeah. So Aniruddha, you can read here, and Vijay Prabhu, I'll just organize, just give me a minute. Prabhu, lights on, lights on. Lights are okay, no problem.
You can say something while they're shuffling us around.
Vijay Prabhu, you can come this side. Middle will be better. I'll get this chair for you. Yeah, okay. And all the and the top 10, you could ask them if they want to share a story, short story.
We had breakfast at 10 o'clock, are we?
Yeah, because you're giving Vijay Prabhu.
Anybody here wants to have breakfast before 10 o'clock? No? Okay, good. You want to say something? No, it's all right.
Course from 1985 was the time we did closer to what we did. So we did more than 85 from 1985 onwards to the biggest.
1985. Well, Govindesh informs me that, what was that book? Book distribution or collection?
Book distribution, the book points.
Book points in 1985.
So yeah, that was the
Highest since 1985.
highest.
Wow. Well, in 1985, we weren't selling books. No, we were just giving them away.
Oh, okay.
We were distributing them freely. Right, Prabhu? Yeah. See, what happened is in the 70s, the devotees distributed books so much that, so if you went into the city and you got out at the Flinders Street railway station, you'd meet a devotee selling a book on the corner of Flinders and Swanston. Then you'd go up and you'd meet a devotee selling a book on the corner of Collins and Swanston. Then you'd go up and you'd meet another devotee selling the same books on the corner of Swanston and Burke, right? And this would go on, day in, day out for a number of years until the whole of, Melbourne had a full set of Krishna books, Nectar of Devotion and the Bhagavad Gita and whatever else that the devotees were selling, incense and the like, until people got fried. And so, along with the Harinam and along with the book distribution, the city council, there was basically a war between the devotees and the council officers. Right? The council officers, to this day, say to us on occasion, okay, time to stop the book distribution. And we have friends, they eat at Gopal's, we have friends in the council, so we know, when to stop. But in those days, the devotees didn't know when to stop. And so eventually we had to stop doing book distribution simply because I remember when I would go out on books, people would spit at you, or they would just, if they saw you, they would just cross over the other side of the road. And so, and of course, we were wearing wigs. People liked us. They didn't mind us when we were out on the street wearing robes and, distributing books. But then when we put on wigs and started selling books to the people who were already sold books to, they thought the devotees were just a bunch of cheaters. Right? You're a Hare Krishna, you shave your head, but then you put a wig on to make me think that you're not a Hare Krishna. And so what did they think? You're a cheater. So by the time the 80s came around, we'd stopped doing book distribution. It was too difficult to make any money because we couldn't sell books to people because they were fried with us. Right? So by 1980, 81, 82, certainly 85, we were selling paraphernalia, but distributing huge quantities of books because Balaram here, actually the leadership in Australia basically put 50% of that income aside to purchase books. We had a factory down in Johnson Street, which is now a set of apartments, and that factory was full of books. Pallets of books loaded up on top of each other. And so our book distribution those days was just go out on the street on Harinam and give the books out. That's why we distributed so many books in 1985. But I don't think you can compare it to the effort that the devotees put in this year. Okay, it's comparable in quantity, but not in the amount of effort that has gone, because in those books were all given away free. Right? Comparable in number, but I don't think in effort.
Quality was high.
The quality is, what did Ajit say to me? He said, more honest. Right? I said, I'm not sure about that, but yes, possibly. Prabhu. Yeah, we did letterboxes. Yep, we used to just put books on windscreens of people's cars. But don't laugh, it worked. You know, Vasudham, who the first time I met him in a temple, because I was selling full sets in those days, and he sent in his cards and so forth. I got in touch with him and arranged for him to come to the temple. And the first time I saw him, I showed him the brochure of the full set. He said, yep, I want to buy one of those. Right? He got a Science of Self-Realization under the windscreen wiper of his car. Right? So, you know, transcendental book distribution, key, Joy. Even if it might have... Okay, so what are we going to do here? This looks like the cover of the Hare Krishna cookbook, but anyway, it's got Srila Prabhupada. Okay, so what have we got here?
Did we turn the lights off?
Yeah, let's turn the lights off. So we've... 2016. Okay, so we've got a dark colour books, right? That's the number of books, and we've got a light blue colour, which is book points. And the goal of life is to get more book points, right? In fact, if you're a book distributor, it's the most book points on any given day. Is that right? Mahalakshmi? Is that correct? Of course it is. Okay, so 2016, 19,000 books for 17,000 or 18,000 book points. 2017, 21,000 books, 22,000 book points. In 2018, last year, 23,500 books for 29,000 book points. But look what happened in 2019. Yeah. 34,500 books sold. This is mainly books sold, not just given away. And a total of 51,500 book points. One good thing is that we've been selling quite a few sets, and they've increased the points for full, well, not a full set, not what we would call a full set, but a set of Bhagavatams. I'd like to remind everybody, I guess I'm promoting myself here, but a full set of books, when I was selling full sets, was a set of Lilamrita, Bhagavad Gita, teachings of Lord Kapila, teachings of Queen Kunti, teachings of Lord Chaitanya, plus the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, plus the Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is, Gopinath-acharya and Brigu. This is what we call a full set. So anyway, a big effort for 2019. That's an increase of, what have we got there? That's an increase of 10,000 books. Is that right? 11,000 books. And it's an increase of over 20,000 book points. So amazing effort for 2019. Next. Okay, in the marathon, we had 115 devotees going out doing book distribution. We sold a total of nearly 15,000 books. Here's our totals here. 3 magazines, 1,746 small books, 98 medium books, 432 big books, 12,413 Maha big books, 38 sets of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, for a total of 28,516.3 book points. How can you have 0.3 book points? Magazine has 0.3, is it? Oh, 0.1. Yeah, that's how we got it. Okay. And that was a collection of 126,957, well, 958 effectively, dollars. Hare Krishna. You've just gone back. Oh, no. This is, no, keep going. What was that? Marathon. Oh, marathon. Okay. All right. So, but these aren't figures. These are now percentages. Oh, okay. Oh, I see. It's a little... So 2016, 7,600 books, 8,600 points. 2017, 7,000. It was a drop, actually. We dropped the number of books, but we increased our book points. 2018, 10,763 books for 17,000 book points, an increase of 66%. And then in 2019, an increase of 37%, 14,754 books for a total of 28,516 book points. That's pretty good. Okay, next. Oh, okay. So, dark blue is how many devotees from the congregation, in other words, not full-time book distributors. And light blue means full-time book distributors. So in 2016, we had 13% congregation and 87% probably brahmacharis, I suspect, right? Yep. And then in 2017, almost equal. In 2018, the brahmacharis increased. Congregation 46%. But this year, more devotees from the householder community went out compared to the number of full-time distributors. So that's a healthy sign. If we can increase that. You know, in one sense, we do madhukari, right? We take a little bit from a lot of people, right? That means we're giving more people an opportunity to engage in devotional service and to read Srila Prabhupada's books. So this is if we can keep that trend up, mind you, it'd be good to have more full-time book distributors because that means we'd have more brahmacharis. Right? So we want to increase both. But this, of course, is a ratio, so it doesn't tell us how many. Next. Okay. So, the travelling Sankirtan team visited 34 locations. You went to South Australia, did you? Yeah. No. Adelaide. Where else did you go in Adelaide? Looks like... Did you go to Mount Gambier? That looks like Mount Gambier down there. They're not very big towns, though. No, they're small places. You could fry that out in about a day, I reckon. Yeah. Okay, that's good. Did you have permission to go there?
Yeah, I spoke to Adipurush Prabhu.
Okay, good. No, it's just... And what about Canberra?
Yeah.
Did you get permission to go there?
Yeah, I spoke to Mother Seva.
Okay, good. That's good. And in Tassie we've got Launceston and what's that other one? Davenport, Hobart, and a few other places. Also very small. Although over on the west here there are some bigger towns, mining towns. And even on the east. But okay, good. Next. No, we want to start from the number what, 115. Can you do that? Yeah, we've got to start from the bottom, not from the top. It's a count up, not a count down. I'm going to. Okay. We'll start with the shall I read off the paper?
Here we have, it's coming up.
Very small.
I'm going to read from the paper because it's, well, just, no, I'll be right, I
You
think.
can turn on the light if you want.
Turn on the light.
Yeah.
Let there be light. Okay, I'm going to go through this fairly quickly because it's a lot. Now, there's a prize, a surprise for everybody. Let's have a look here.
Pretty good.
There's a Mahaprasadam sweet pack. Achincha Rupa didn't think it was a very good idea to distribute prasadam, but 3 days of hard work. Hey. Okay, let's have a look here. But anyway, for the pleasure of the devotees and of Srila Prabhupada. Okay, so I'm just going to read out the point score because it'll take forever just reading out the books. Yeah, we're going to go through this fairly quickly. Come up and get your prize if you're here. If you're not, somebody could collect, but okay, I'll leave you work out those details. Okay, so we've got Vishaka, Surabhi, Gokul, Anandavirya, Bhakti Priya, Jitendriya, Anandavirya, Gokul, Surabhi and Vishaka with 0.25 book points. Here you get a picture of Radharani. Okay, we'll see you. Okay, now Bhakti Priya, Jitendriya, and Abhay, 0.5 book points. Okay, come up and get your. Okay, rightio. So then we've got Araja. Is Araja here? Oh, Hare Krishna. Araja has 0.75 book points. Manish, 1.75 book points. Then Savana Krishna and Devanath Giridhari and Priyam Bada Madhavi, 2 book points each. Then we've got Radhika Sharma at 2.25 book points. Then Chaitanya. Is Chaitanya here? Little Chaitanya Joshi. Oh, Chaitanya, 2.5 book points. Actually, yeah. And Tarangini, 2.5 book points. Oh, Tarangini. I know Tarangini. Okay, then Bhaktiman, 3.5 book points. He just went. Okay. Here he is, just here. You were just trying to get his prize. Sibya, 3.75 book points. Okay. Now, the following devotees, all with 4 book points: Vaidehi, Virabhadra Nityananda, Vallabha Sharma, and Priyanka, 4 book points. Oh, Vallabh. Okay. Okay, now at 4.5 book points, Vivek. Vivek here? No? Crossways and Sachin, 4.75 book points. Who's going to get the Crossways prize? Ramesh. Ramesh is not here. Okay, give it to Ramesh. He can share it with the Crossways crew. And then at 5 book points, we've got Sumit Tirthapad, and is there anybody else? And Anurag, 5 book points. Okay. Okay, at 6 book points, we've got Nanda. Where's Nanda? In the kitchen, probably. Okay, rightio. Aradhita and Aryan, 6.75 book points. Okay. At 8 book points, we got Vrishni Vamsa. Vrishni here? No. Okay. 8.75 book points, Pranay. 10 book points, Rajesh. 10.5 book points, we've got Hetal Mataji and Rasavalasini. Now, at 12 book points, we've got Vikram. At 12.5 book points, we've got Krishna and Prasad. Which Krishna is it? You don't know? Get in now. He's Krishna Gupta, isn't he? Yeah, Krishna Gupta. Yeah. We want to know though, was your score accumulated over the year? We've heard rumours. We know all of the tricks. Save up your scores until the marathon. Okay, who was that? Vikram and Krishna. Oh, Krishna and Prasad. Okay. Arya, 12.75 book points. Prakriti, 13.25 book points. Now, is this Ramesh? Which Ramesh is this? Crossways Ramesh. Okay, he gets 2 prizes. Ramesh and Niraj, 14 book points each. Now, this is a different Priyanka? Priyanka Mittal? Yeah, I know who that is. Priyanka Mittal, 14.25 book points. Gopal's book distribution, 15 book points. I reckon about 10 o'clock. No, half an hour maybe at the max.
Okay.
Yeah, could be less, 20 minutes. Okay, 16 book points, puja. Puja. On 16.5 book points, Navanita and Bhavika. Yeah, Navanita, I saw her before, yeah. Okay. 16.7 book points, Gagandeep. Is he here? No? 17.75 book points, Hemant from Bhaktivedanta. Hemant BB. 18 book points, Madhukar. 19 book points, Radha Priya. Radha Priya, okay. That's Taravali's mum. Okay. 20 book points, Brijesh. Hare Krishna. 21.25 book points is Taravali. Back again. Very well. More books than her mum. The prize changes. Okay, good. A bigger prize, I take it. Okay. Okay, so coming in at 24 book points, we've got 3 devotees, Harsh, Punya Palika and Sachin Kotnala. Okay, coming in at 25.5 book points, Ravi Kula Ramachandra. There's Ravi Kula. At 28.5 book points, Shriya. At 30 book points, we've got Venkat and Harish. At 34.75 book points, we've got Prasen. On 36 book points, we've got Surya Gopal. And Surya Gopal's been very busy with his business, conveyancing, so that's quite an effort. Thank you, Suri. 41 book points, Madhu Manjari. Where's Madhu? She was here. Okay. On 43.5 book points, we've got Prema Gorangi. On 44.25 book points, we've got Dinesh Kuna. Huh? He's further ahead. Okay. He's in twice in the database. Yeah, it should take him out. Okay, 46.75 book points, Chanchal. He's from Adelaide. How come he got here? Anyway, send him his present. Send him his prize. He's in America. Okay, give his prize to me. Okay, 47.75 book points, Arjun Otaru. Hare Krishna. Thanks, Arjun. Okay, we've got 4 devotees on 48 book points. We've got Manish, Bhakta, Gaurav Sharma, Ajay Bansal, and Chaitan on 48 book points. Um, 49.25 book points, Nikunja Viharini. Haribol, thank you. On 49.5 book points, Anai. Oh no, it's not here. That's Kaushalananda's boy, right? Yep. Okay, also on 50 book points, Uttama Bhakti. Hare Krishna. On 51.25 book points, Arup Vishwas. Okay, 52.75 book points, Saviour Bhagavan. Okay. On 53.75 book points, Rohit. Is Rohit here? No? Okay, on 57 book points, Kinjal. No? Okay, now here's the man who's keeping everything going on behind the scenes. 57.75 book points, Param Brahma Prabhu. Param Brahma doesn't want to go to Crossways anymore. He wants to go on book distribution. And unfortunately, we have to be practical. Okay. 59.5 book points is Sweta. Who's Sweta? Sweta. Okay. That's who I thought it might have been. This is not Sweta, by the way. This is Sweta's mum. Hare Krishna. Sriji, okay, 64.25 book points, Sriji Balabi. Sriji Balabi is a very talented devotee. She's also a very good cook and a book distributor as well. Thank you. On 68 book points, Madhumati. Okay. We hope she'll be giving her mum more competition next year. Huh? Okay, on 72 book points, we've got Kaushalyananda, who I don't think's here, and Simple Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Huh? We need what? Oh, Vineet, yeah, is on 72. And Anandavardhana on 72. Is Anandavardhana here? No? Okay, and Dirasiramani and Gopika. Is Gopika here? No? Okay, so they're all 72 book points. Oh, there's more. Hang on. Bharat Mama Reddy, Chandra Balabi, all 72 book points. Okay, rightio. On 80.5 book points is Amal Gaurasundara. Come on. Yeah. The son is the representative of the father, but the son doesn't want to do what he's told. Amal Gaurasundara actually a very good book distributor, but he also has a job, so not reaching his full potential as a book distributor. On 84 book points, Adi Purush Prabhu. There's Adi Purush. Okay. 94.75 book points, Member Services Office. Okay. Give that to Guru Vandana. Okay, now we're... What? This is the last 25. The slides are better. Business class. Huh? Okay, let's have a look. Number 25, Pani Prabhu, 49 books, 97 book points. And a collection of $396. Okay, number 24, Akash, 53 books, 101.75 book points, 1,200 Lakshmi points. Oh. Number 23, Krishna Arjun, 55 books, 104 book points, 430. '22, Vishnu, 94 books, 107.75 book points, 1,000. Let him get through. Govardhan Hill. Right. Okay, can we... Right. 21. Vasudev Sankarshan, 70 books, 114 book points. Number 20, what do we got? Dinesh, 96 books, 165 book points. '19, Yogeshwara Govinda, 29 books, two Bhagavatam sets, 202 book points. Let me read the line. Let me finish the line, okay? One thing. Look at how much a Bhagavatam set boosts your points, right? Just to let everybody be aware. Okay, number 18, Kiran Khanna, 142 books, 246 book points, 1,152. Matsya, number 17, 227 total books, 266 book points. And number 16, Samantha, 153 total books, 302 book points, 1,174. Hare Krishna. Okay. Number 15, Nitai Premananda, 265 books, 327.5 book points, 1,426. Is Nitai here? No? He's probably at work or in the kitchen. Yeah. 14, Kartik, 202 total books, 404 book points, 1,500 Lakshmi. Okay. Is Kartik in the pot shed or what? I think wasn't he sacked from the pot shed just recently? We should send him out on book distribution more often. Number 13, Arjun Ajayan, 291 books. Another hidden talent. Right? Okay, number 12, Rati Manjari, 277 books. Ah. 527 book points, 2,414. Now, in the marathon, just as a point of information, we sold $126,000 worth of books, 127. That was a cost of $83,051. We made a profit of $83,906. So that's 100% markup. So good result. So we made money. That's what that means. Number 11, Krishna Gupta, 742 books. Now, what's the answer to this question? How many of these books were actually sold in the marathon? Krishna? Did you sell all of these books in the marathon, or is that saved up for the year? You don't know? Okay. That's a good answer. Safe answer. Okay. Number 10, Neela Gopa. Look. 9 sets of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Hare Krishna. That's a very good result. 648 book points for 4,500. Okay, number 9. Arjun Shaka. That's some spending money when he goes to India, I suppose. But look, six. Sarabi, go away from there, please. If anybody's going to be in trouble, it's her. In fact, she does things just to get attention. Have you noticed? Mangalati, she always wants to stand up on the step and, Haribol, everybody. I'm here. It's like, we know you're there.
If anyone wants to share a story, it'll be good from now on.
Oh, some stories. Who wants to share a Sankirtan story?
When they get the prize,
When they get the prize. Okay, it looks like breakfast may be after 10 o'clock. What do you think? A story. Another story.
Are you ready? Oh, he's ready. Go ahead.
Yeah. But again, look, Arjun Shaka, 6 sets of Bhagavatams. Good result, 5,622. We're starting into the serious end of the book distribution.
Well. He's ready now, right?
Yeah, he's ready. All right, number 8, Bhakti Lata. $405 books, 804.75 book points, 3,068. Woo. But look at more points, less Lakshmi. That's because you see Arjun Shaka's boosted his with Bhagavatam sets. Number 7. Mamohan. Along with managing the catering, Manmohan managed to sneak out and do some book distribution. You want to tell a story? You don't have to. You're not obliged. To be honest, I wouldn't mind having something to eat pretty soon. I've conflict of interest. I'm hungry, but I've declared my conflict of interest. Okay, number 6, Ojasvi. nearly 1,000 individual books and 5 sets, 2,056 book points. And look at the collection, 10,598. Whoa! Ojasvi doesn't muck around, okay? Looking after 2 teenage sons plus a full-time job, that's a significant sacrifice. Thank you, Ojasvi. Very well. Okay, number 5. $1,100 books, one set of Bhagavatams, 2,258 book points, and a collection of 8,460. Not bad. And I think he wants to tell a story. I get the idea. I get the somehow.
Thank you. I'll just tell a short story. First, I would like to talk about our marathon planning, just one point. We had a meeting, for planning for marathon, and we had different distributors, and everyone was committing, we'll do this many books. We were adding together where we can reach up to. So we planned, we will do 10,000 Mahabig books for the month. So that was the plan. And then as we went through the marathon, we could see that devotees were doing much, much more. And then, of course, we did close to 13,000 Mahabig books. So it was such a 13,000. Yeah, it was a big jump. So it was very interesting. Hare Krishna. Just one story I'll tell. It happened in Shepparton. It was a reasonably hot day. As usual, books were not going, and praying and thinking what to do. So there came a middle-aged lady, stopped her, and introduced myself and gave a copy of Bhagavad Gita. And she was quite surprised to get the book. And she started talking about herself. She said she was into yoga before, and she stopped practicing. But a couple of days before that I met her, she saw a cattle truck. And, she has seen cattle truck many times, but with cattle in there. And when she saw that, she decided, she started thinking, why am I eating meat? Then after seeing that, she decided, I'll stop eating meat from now onwards. It's 2 or 3 days back. And she stopped eating meat. And then she said, the night before, she had a dream. In the dream, a yogi came to her dream and and was giving some instructions. It was not me. It was not me. Prabhupada probably. And then she is in front of me. She said, I'm really surprised now. There is a monk in front of me and he's giving a book. And this is what really I had to do. And, she accepted the book and, she gave a donation.
You were in Dhoti and Kurta?
No, I was just wearing normal plain clothes. But I introduced myself as a monk. So she was just one story. That's all. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
And Prabhupada says that you can test whether a pot of rice is cooked by testing one grain. Right, so don't think that she's just one person. This is happening to many people, this challenge now. Australia has, 11.8% of the country identify as being vegan or vegetarian. Right, so this is why we shouldn't think it's, approaching the population of Australia is going to be difficult. There are going to be many people like this. Okay, number 4. Boom, boom, boom. Mahalakshmi. Oh. Mahalakshmi is one of our most determined and consistent book distributors. Right? Yep, she's been distributing books for the last 5 years, but I think this is probably the best year, huh?
No, last 5 days of the marathon she couldn't distribute books.
Why not? Oh, anyway, let's not go into it. Anyway, an excellent result from a very dedicated and devoted servant of Srila Prabhupada and the devotees. She told me that she didn't want to be number one. But I didn't believe her. But look at that, and look at the collection. 13,036. Woo! That's a lot of hard work. That's a lot of people approached. So thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay, number 3. Rikeshari. You know, in the good old days, your ranking would have been by how much you collected, not by how many book points you distributed. So this is a somewhat skewed view of the universe here. Okay, 1,734 books, 3,338 book points, $12,126.35. Thank you. It's got a story. He's probably going to have 5 stories at least.
So I just had a short story. Okay. So overall this marathon was really nice, because before the marathon I was a little bit scared how I'm going to go out, what I'm going to tell to the people, how I'm going to convince them to take a book. But then actually it turned out to be much easier than I thought, and many people were actually very interested. I didn't need to yell at them, I didn't need to convince them, I didn't need to argue with them. Many people just took the book. And the most inspiring thing that happened to me was in Tasmania, when I was distributing books in Hobart. And I was stopping like everybody that I saw, either like young or old or teenagers or professionals. And people, they started to know me in Hobart, in the city center. And
He's a nice guy to know.
oh, thank you.
Who wouldn't buy a book off of this handsome, charming young gentleman?
Thanks. And as I was distributing books in Hobart City, the city started dying out, so the city center. So I started walking to a different area. And as I was walking, I met this group of kids, like teenagers. And they came to me and they said, "Oh, hey, do you remember us?" And actually, I did not remember them, but I said, "Yeah, sure." And I asked them, "Oh, did you read the book that I gave you already?" And then she said, there was one girl in the group, and she said, "Oh, yeah, I had a look through. It looks really nice. But my friend, she gave the money, and she took the book." And I was like, "Okay, then you should get your own book." And she's like, "Okay, yeah, but..." I asked, "Do you have a donation? Can you give a donation for the book?" And she's like, "I don't have any money now. It is with my other friends in Subway, in the city center." I said, "Okay, sure, let's go for a walk." It was just like 2 or 3 minutes away, so we started going for a walk. We had a chat, nice teenagers. And then as we came to the city center, the other friends were there. So she told them that I need my wallet, and there's a monk, and I give him a donation. And then her friends told her, "No, we know him, we met him already before." And then I asked them, I also didn't remember them, but I told them that, "Did you read the books?" And they said, "No, I didn't take them." I said, "Oh, what happened?" And they said, "Oh, we don't know. Actually, we also want a book." So then her friend took a book, and that girl that I walked to Subway, she also took a book. And as I was speaking with them, all the other friends started coming up. And they also started seeing me. They started seeing the books, and they got really interested. Like, I don't know what it was, but they all wanted to get, like, a lot of them all wanted to get the book. One girl, she just looked at her old bags, just counted out some coins, and she said, "Oh, can I also have a book? Please, I also want a book." And then I gave her also a book. Then one of the friends, there was one boy, he said, "Look, I don't have any money now, but there's a bank. I get some cash out. I also take a book." And then, like in 5 minutes, like maybe 4 or 5 of these kids or teenagers, they all got the book and they were so happy. And every next day I would see them again and they were like, oh, hey, nice to see you, you know, thank you for the book.
We'll send you back to Hobart to start a temple. But you're not the first Sankirtan devotee who's accompanied somebody to the bank to collect some Lakshmi. Okay, number 2, getting up there, Meenakshi. Meenakshi did want to be number 1. 1,723 books, a set of Bhagavatams, 3,505 book points, 13,212 Lakshmi collected. Woohoo! Haribol. Well, Sibya, sit down. We'll see you later, okay? Okay, so that's a wonderful effort. Meenakshi's got 2 beautiful twins, and Sibya as well to look after. What to speak of her husband? But she's very fortunate because her husband works nights. So daytime he can look after the kids. So she has an advantage. Yeah? Huh? Okay, and who might be left at number 1? Dweja! Okay, so look at that, right out in front there, 2,358 books, 2 sets, 4,608 book points, 16,973. Whoa! So nearly $17,000 on books. Whew, wow. So, you know, you could imagine that's at least 2,500 probably. How many people do you approach? What's the percentage of people that you approach and actually purchase a book, you reckon? What's... 1 out of what? 10? Yeah. So that means if you multiply that by 8, that's a lot. That's 16,000 people approached in a month. Huh? Less. Well, 5. So what's that? 10,000 people. How's your voice? I used to find on Sankirtan, you know, at the end of the week, you're hoarse. Anyway, okay, so let's have a look at the Sankirtan story. Okay.
I got 2 stories. One is short. So there was, I was in the car park distributing books, and I approached this one lady, and this was in somewhere in South Australia, I think in Portland. Yeah. I think I was in Portland, and I was in the car park, Victoria, and I was distributing books, and this one lady, and she had like 3 or 4 kids, and she's just trying to manage them all while rushing to put all her shopping thing in the car, and she's looking very stressed, you know. And then I said, "Excuse me." It's like, "Look, like I can't talk, you know. I can't talk. I'm very busy. I have to go." I said, "I'm a monk, you know. I'm giving books on meditation," and she just froze for a minute. And then she she just leaves the kids aside, she leaves the shopping trolley aside, and she comes to me and she's like, "What is this?" So then I gave her the book, I explained her the book, what's the book about. I said, yeah, I'll take this. He said, how much can I give you for this? I said, just give whatever donation you like. It costs us such and such. And so she pulled out $50 she gave me. She said, actually, I've been going through a very rough time, and I just this morning, he said, I was praying to God that I don't know what to do with my life, and if you can please show me the path, like what I should do with my life, and here you come giving me this book. This must be God sending me this book. That was. So she was very happy to get the book, and she left. And there's one more story. That was in. Or not in Albury. That's like outskirts of Albury. It's like one of the suburbs. And I was distributing books in the car park just a night before we finished the marathon, or 2 nights before we finished the marathon. And because we were traveling, and I had taken one set of Bhagavatam, and so I wanted to really sell the set of Bhagavatam. So I was really praying that maybe I meet someone and I can give it to the person. Yeah, and yeah. And so it was late night, around 8:30, 9 o'clock. And so I was approaching people in this car park, and there's not many people. And then I see this Audi sports car come in, and there's this lady sitting there, and it's night, 9 o'clock, it's dark, it's the lady there. And everyone is watching me because I'm just kind of going around from car to car. And so I didn't want to look like a monk troubling the women in the night, so I was not sure. And then I thought, okay, anyway, I'll just try, see what happens. I knocked on the window. She opened the window, she had a look at the Bhagavad Gita, and she's having a look, and so she says, oh, okay. She said, but is this part anything to do with the Veda? And I said, this is basically a conclusion of all the Vedas, this Bhagavad Gita. Explain a little bit about it, and she said, okay. So she comes out of the car, and she said, because it was Woolies car park, and she said, I gave this $20 to this guy playing guitar. I was going to give him more. But now that you are here, so I'll give you rather. So she gives $50. She's happy to get the Bhagavad Gita. So I said, okay, thank you. So you just hold her right there. I'll go and I'll come back in a minute because the donations were quite okay for the day. So I said, okay, I'll give her a Krishna book and Nectar of Devotion. I ran back to the car, came back again with the 2 books holding on my hand. And I wanted to give her, but she kept talking, And so while she was speaking about different things, and then I had an idea like, maybe I can present Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. So I said, oh, look, this is Bhagavad Gita, this is a yoga class, but this is just an introduction. But then this real thing, this is Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, is like this set of 18 books, spiritual encyclopedia. It's waiting in my car if you like to have a look. And she said, yeah, sure. She comes over, she has a look at the books, and she said, yeah, actually my husband, he doesn't like to watch TV, he likes to read. But then he doesn't like any books, he likes to read books that actually make sense, they're nice. And so she has a look at the books and looks at the pictures, and we discuss a little bit, and then finally she says, so how much? And I said, this is 500. And you can help out, it just helps us with the cover and the printing. And so she says, I'm not sure if I have so much money, and I have to have a look, so I'll come back to you. So she goes, she kind of disappears, and then I don't know where did she go, and it's 5 minutes and 10 minutes passed, and it's already late, and I'm not sure if she just drove off or like she's coming back. And I was waiting for some time, then she comes back, and she says, actually myself and my husband have a joint account, and I had a look, and we had exactly $500. So she kind of gives the 500 cash, and she's like, here you go. And so then she was very happy to get the books. She was saying, this is really nice because what I'm going to do is I'm going to gift wrap it. I'm going to give this to my husband as a Christmas present. And so she was very happy. So then the books finished. We carried the books back to her car, and then she said, so I give you the $50. Like that's yours. You can keep that. And then this is 500 for the Bhagavatam set. So I said no. So I've got 2 more books. I'll give it to you. And so she said, oh, this will be my Christmas present. So she comes back again. She takes the the Nectar of Devotion Krishna book. So I put in her hand. She's having a look at the books, and she said, explain to me, what is this? So then I explained, this is Krishna book. This is Krishna talking about the Supreme Person. It's got 90 stories. And she said, oh, he said, I was going to the internet looking for different religions. And not that I'm affiliated with any one of those, but I was looking at different words because when I'm looking at the religions, there are many words I come across, I don't really understand them. And so I was going through them, and then I read this one word that just hit home, just clicked, hit the heart. And that was Krishna. And so she says, I really feel this connection with this Krishna. And so she looked up for it more, and then she was saying, actually, I was going to get a picture of Krishna and put in my bedroom so I can look at him every day. But then now instead of the picture, I'm getting the whole book. And he said, how good is that? So she takes the whole Bhagavad Krishna book. She's very happy. He said, I'm going to keep this next to my bed, and I'm going to read it every day.
Did you get her name and address?
But I gave her my contact number.
Okay, good. Now, one of the tricks, not tricks, but one of the essential skills of a book distributor is getting people's names and a contact detail, email address, telephone number, because that person's going to buy a set of Chaitanya Charitamrita next. And they'll become devotees. They become devotees. You know, anybody who buys a set of books like that, they're already a devotee. Especially, she says, you know, I was looking up Krishna. So, as a full set sales person, trained by Gopinath-Acharya and Brigupati, we're always trained. Get the person's name, get a contact number or an email address. In those days we didn't have email addresses. And always carry a full set of Bhagavatams in the back of your car. Always, because you never know. What's that?
We have gifts for Vasudev and Shyamsundar for helping out in crosses to cover during marathon.
Okay, are they here? Oh, Vasudev. Hare Vasudev. Whoa. Vasudev probably be a good book distributor himself, I reckon. You tried. Okay, that's why you're at Crossways, huh? Anyway, the thing is, not everybody can be a book distributor. We acknowledge that. But to help out with the prasadam distribution and temple maintenance, that supports the book distribution. So thank you very much. It's okay, come back again.
So in case some of you didn't know, tonight we're going to have a seminar, Going Closer to Krishna. A lot of this will be about book distribution. Because Prabhupada said, you take one step towards Krishna, Krishna comes 10 steps towards you. So each book we distribute, we're getting closer to Krishna. So this will be
So that's this evening in the theatre. Yeah, we got two more to go. Shyam Sundar. Where's Shyam Sundar? Hello. Little baby Shyam Sundar. He's going to be a big boy when he grows up. And Prasad. Thank you, Prasad. Yeah. And we've got a couple more left. Okay. Oh, yeah, but they're for the devotees that didn't come and get them.